Cancers, and welcome to your May 2022 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about your month ahead. I hope you're all doing really well. I'm excited to be reading for you today. I think it's going to be a very giving month for you as we get closer to your time of the year, we get closer to your solar return. How wonderful it is to take a load off during May and to not overstress, overpressurize, or overdo yourself. You're going to really be getting things together, I think, when June and July comes around. So things could kind of start to feel a little bit heavy this month if you're overthinking things or if you're, trying to figure things out to too huge of a degree. Some things just are not clear. We've got Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces, and we can't know completely why or how or for what reason we are doing everything. And there's a large potential of dealing with like sloppiness from other people or dealing with like a clumsiness. So we need to try to put down the perfectionism a little bit and just, I think, rest through it and set our priorities as straight as we can here. So the main thing that I'm going to see for you intuitively this month is new priorities, new sources of value, new investments for some of you. It does feel like you're totally rethinking your investment strategy, again, whether this is time, money, or energy. And that could be why this Nine of Swords energy is coming up. Though you also have the Nine of Cups too, so you are right at a really important gate in your experience, and you have access. It is open. So this new world that you're walking into is definitely the right way to go, I think. And I really trust the natural intuition that you are having now. But at the same time, there's a possibility of that natural intuition, like, okay, now I know exactly what to invest in. Now I know exactly what I want to do for a living. Now I know exactly where I want to be. But I still have all this right in front of me to fix up and figure out. That's the only conflict point this month, but I think that you get all of the information and also creative understanding to fix it. So it's really just a matter of knowing what you want and not getting discouraged by what is currently here, and knowing that it's actually a light and easy process to step over what you have right here and just be where you want to be, okay? Cancers convincing themselves that they're not allowed to be where they want to be. Cancers convincing themselves that they're not allowed to work in the career that they want, that they're not allowed to have a surplus, that they're not allowed to, have more of a creatively expansive life experience. These are habitual mind, you-know-whats. These are not real. These are self-imposed restrictions. Okay, so Cancer actually does have rulership over self-imposed restrictions, and these can be good sometimes, It's an interesting time to maybe channel this positively, like with a new healthy diet or with a new healthy circadian rhythm. Thinking about how self-imposed restrictions with the Nine of Swords and the Nine of Cups, how those can be channeled positively and how you can divest yourself from negatively self-imposed restrictions. Like, I'm never going to be able to invest. I'm never going to be able to retire. I'm never going to be able to own my own business. I'm never going to be able to have more autonomy over my experience. Cancer is the sign that rules over independence and autonomy. So if you're a highly dependent Cancer, or if you can't control your own time or have ownership over your own experience, that is the worst place to be for a Cancer. And it's not hard for them to fix that. What is hard is when they've convinced themselves of anything negative, because once Cancer has convinced itself of something, Cancer Capricorn axis, it's very stubborn and it's hard to change its mind. So basically the game over for Cancer is when we've convinced ourselves that we're stuck, or when we've convinced ourselves that we have to be somewhere that we don't want to be. That's game over mode for Cancer. But it's also good to know that, because, wow, we could just change our mind, or we could convince ourselves that we are going to figure it out, or we could convince ourselves that, within a year from now, we're going to be where we want to be. And then your stubborn nature becomes a great asset because you will not be able to not manifest it. Okay. So that's the main intuitive thing for you this month. I love seeing the Page of Wands and the Lovers coming up. Again, creative decisions, creative crossroads, win-win situations. are here for you this month. Let's talk about your week to week. Week 1, you've got the Nine of Swords rooted down by the Justice reversed. So something unjust might have happened. You might see that you didn't spend well, or you didn't or weren't actually thinking of the long term for quite a while. So especially Cancers with Sagittarius placements or even Aries placements, you might have seen that there was too much of a short-term focus, and that could be reflecting to you in like weird long-term focuses now. So you're like, okay, so that job I never liked is now funding my long-term investments. That's a weird, complicated experience to be in. And that's kind of the mind warp that we're all in right now, is like, wow, I now am creating a long-term success based on something that doesn't work in the short term. What the heck do I do with this? And this is the essence of the energy I feel for you in the first week. Comment below, Cancers, and let me know what you're doing to fix this or to overcome this, because I think we can all relate to it. But you've got to figure it out in the first week. Like, how do I work with all of this, when my long-term things that I just love are now being generated by something I don't love in the short term? Is that leading to me a long-term feeling of worth via short-term unhappiness? We can't have that. We've got to figure out how to have a good short-term and good long-term experience, okay? And you're on a quest this month, I think, to figure that out. How can I have a better short-term experience for the long term? We struggle more now in 2022 and beyond this year to say, okay, for 3 years, I'm going to suffer to like make enough money to like finally do what I want to do. That is not acceptable after 2022. We can't keep doing that. We've really got to be able to think, okay, I can actually have something that's like enjoyable in the short term that generates a better long-term situation. And then in the second week, you're taking that to the next level. 7 of Wands rooted down by 8 of Pentacles reversed. Okay, so my defenses or my boundaries are being reinforced by overworking or short-term, hyper-laborious, hyper-menial energies. And this is something we got to figure out. The entire first half of May, all of Taurus season, I think not just for you, but for everyone with, North Node in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus, that eclipse we had in Taurus, Mercury about to retrograde in Taurus. That's a lot of this type of energy, like really spiked work energy, really spiked money energy. We've got to figure this out, and Cancers are going to be the ones to do it, because you guys are not a sign that can live with fake feelings of success or fake false feelings of grandeur, false feelings of wealth, or having to sacrifice your morals to get something in the future. Like, it's not going to work. And I think in the second week you can see like how overworking or how any type of long-term feeling like I'm building my future by like struggling now, it's not going to work. Okay, week number 3, Page of Wands rooted down by the Lovers. Nice stuff. Okay, right when Gemini season hits, it already starts to get better. And you see how it can all come together, or it can all actually start to work. And you start to also see how tact or having more pristine or well-developed third eye chakra is really the way to go here, okay? And that is going to help you a lot, all right? It's like creativity and solar plexus energy needs more like third eye health than we can imagine as well, because without it we kind of like do a bunch of stuff that never made sense, or like things start to get like skewed, or we have a million creative ideas in one day and we can't hope to really actually work with them because it's overwhelmed, or it's manic, or it's not actually focusable. So combining focus with creativity is good, and by the time of your time of the year, by the time we get to July, you're going to be needing to like really create and to stand for your new creative focuses and not just have them in the mind, okay? So there might be a decision to make regarding creative projects or regarding happiness in the third week of May. Week 4, 9 of Cups rooted down by the Page of Swords. There's a feeling of gatekeeping. There's a feeling of being at a new entry point or at a new chapter. Okay. So some of you might be traveling, some of you might be entering new countries, some of you might be entering new cities or be in new contexts, and somebody might be blocking your way, or somebody might be requesting information from you as you do this. So just to prepare you for that, again, Page of Swords is about information. It's about intel. It's about knowing something more about someone. So some of you are like facing maybe like, I don't know, immigration or visas or something like that. And that might be something that you want to be really well prepared for, and not just kind of like, letting it be a super, I don't know, spontaneous experience. We want to kind of lessen the spontaneous and really ruminate or sit on plans and paths forward, okay? We need to zoom out and understand the bigger connection point to how we are moving, okay? So instead of just blindly investing in something, I would recommend understanding how long am I investing in this? What does that look like over that period of time? And what does it create or generate for me afterwards in the future? And we need to think about like, what is the fabric or the texture of my holistic experience right now? Instead of being like, okay, 80% is not what I like, but 20% is awesome. And I'm like distracting myself and only focusing on this 20% of my life experience. And meanwhile, the other 80% completely falls into like disrepair and it becomes really weird. So we have to really make sure that we're paying attention to our holistic experience. All right. And you could even see someone challenging you in the fourth week. Like, okay, it could be like, I don't know, the auditor or the, the immigration officer or the, the business partner coming in to request certain information. Like we have maybe a need to produce certain information in the fourth week. We could be maybe getting pulled over for a traffic violation or something. There's that type of energy here. And it's not bad. It's not dangerous. It's not like threatening. It's like, being able to explain what you're doing, or being able to explain like or inform about your plans and goals and things like that, and not just being kind of like, I don't know, headlong head first and not really knowing why we're doing things. Or, we're driving through town at 5 a.m. and we get pulled over and the officer's like, where are you going? And we're like, I don't know, I'm just driving around. It seems like crazy. Like maybe we're like brainstorming or dreaming or something, but we, that seems strange from another perspective. So we want to kind of make sure that we're, not in some type of manic experience. Okay. So yeah, anyway, let's talk more about that in your extended reading, Cancer. Let's talk about calming down a little bit and being a little bit more precise in our energy expression. Okay, so much love to you all. It's going to be a wonderful month, Don't worry, there's no like need for fear here, but you do want to start to understand the greater stitch, okay, that your life is taking, instead of just focusing on the one pattern or the one line within that stitch. Okay, so how does that pattern look on the entire blanket rather than just in its own unit? All right. Let's talk more about it in your extended. I do these extended readings for every sign. By getting the membership on Patreon, you get access to all of the readings, all of the extendeds, and weekly tea chats, which I do every week, which are only available over there. I forecast the week ahead, and I talk about, how it's all coming together. So thank you all so much for checking out this reading. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to go do this extended reading for you now on Patreon. Cancers, much love. Bye.